I saw my grown man, my father, holding back tears. And that's holding back tears, and I'm like, just like a little fat kid in the seat. Well, what's wrong, Dad? Can we go to McDonald's? And hey guys, welcome back to Little Big Opinions. I'm Big.
And I'm Little.
And today we have the infamous Bobby from the Dive Bar podcast. Sir, how are you doing this lovely March evening?
Oh, doing great. Doing better now, hanging out with the boys. Little and Big. Also, incredible name. At first, I was like, what the hell is a Little Big Opinion? And then I really started looking. If you just look, you kind of get the answer. So that's pretty smart, especially with their so many different podcasts and so many different names. That's why we just went with a completely not Dolphins name, just like y'all, because there's just too many, and you got to get creative.
You guys went very creative, and we had our podcast initially in 2020. We started it, and it's very hard to do a podcast without sports. So it was too difficult, and then we're like, hey, not going to do it. And when I found you guys, it was just kind of like the same vibe that we were looking for. So I really appreciated your work, and specifically your logo. I am a huge logo guy, and we're here at an art studio. Your logo is absolutely brilliant and great. So applaud to whoever came up with that. That was great.
Yeah, that was a shout out to John. John made our logo when we first started, and it was crazy. We came up with a name. Like we basically said, like you're saying, the vision we wanted, the kind of style we wanted. We wanted, like, if you get off work and you go grab a beer with the boys, that conversation and kind of energy to transfer to the screen. And like, that's how it's always been for us. And then we always knew that's what we wanted, but we couldn't always be like a dive bar vibe, And
right.
we always kept saying that. But then one day somebody's like, why don't we just call it the dive bar? And I was like, damn it, I should have came up with that. I kind of did, but I didn't get credit. So yeah. The dive bar, yeah, we love it. And the logo is fire. We didn't even tell the guy what we wanted. We kind of he sent us that. That was kind of like his first run too. He hit that one right on the head. We were like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely sick. Now, you could tell our listeners and our viewers where can they find you guys?
Yeah, I used to always plug my stuff, but now I don't even care. The dive bar is like my baby. So like the Dive Bar podcast on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can obviously find us. I'm Bobby, obviously. B Shouse Jr. on Twitter is probably where most people know me from. Got Joe Robbie, Ghost of Adam Gase. We're big Twitter guys, I guess you would say.
Wait, you're the Ghost of Adam Gase?
He's on the podcast. He's Bobby, but they're part of the podcast. Yeah.
The Ghost of Adam Gase is part of your podcast?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that guy's got great stuff, dude. That's a great handle, by the way.
Dude, you'll get a view from that guy now because he's a narcissist. Yeah. He loves it. When I get off of these shows and I'm like, dude, they were talking about you. He'd be like, what? When does it drop? I gotta watch. I gotta clip it.
Well, also the reason why. So I'm that Twitter guy that's just in the dark, and I do have a picture on so you can see who I am because I'm not this guy that trash talks or anything. But I followed all of you guys all this time. So when the podcast came, it was just easy enough for me to follow. And he said it right. Like, you guys just have great takes. It's always funny too. Like, I'm like, damn, I wish I was that clever, like quicker than these guys. You guys are just putting them out so fast. So, but the other thing, I have like a little man crush on Jeff Darlington. And when you guys had him on, I was like, dude, I got to listen because his stories are great. He's such a good storyteller.
Yeah,
Jeff Darlington is so good at his job. And when I heard the story of how he got your hat, I need you to tell our listeners how that, because it was a great story. I don't think Ryan knows the story.
Yeah, I think the coolest part about that is, like you say, is Jeff Darlington. Like, anybody could have found the hat. If I had to choose who was part of this story, it would have to be Jeff Darlington.
Yeah.
But so Jeff Darlington, out of nowhere, I run a lot of our socials. Like, most of our guys are logged in and they're like, they'll use it and do stuff if like they need to or whatever. But like, I run most of it and I'm normally first on the scene. Well, I'm like buying coffee one morning, right? Sitting in the line, probably got a baby behind me crying. And I get an alert on my phone and it's like, at Jeff Darlington, yo, dive bar, Found this sick hat in the Lost and Found. Just wanted to give you a shout out. This is an amazing logo. And I was like, what?
What?
So,
That was
dude,
a prank.
I hit him up. I'm like, dude, this is incredible. Would love to have you on the show sometime. And he's like, absolutely. Just let me know what works. And I told him like this Tuesday. He's like, done. And he came on, man. He said, basically, there's apparently, y'all know this. There's a yacht club in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Yeah.
And he's a member. And
Right.
he said that he left his hat at home and he knew he was going to get torched by the sun. So he asked for a Lost and Found. And they showed him the Lost and Found. There was 2 hats. So that's the other cool thing about it is he could have chose the other one.
Right.
We had to win the battle.
Logo,
And he was like, dude, I seen the logo and was like, dude, that's creative. I'm keeping this bad boy. And then
that's a great story.
Yeah, he got on the boat and his wife was like, man, that's a nice hat. Like, who is that? Let's look him up. And they found us and he tagged us on Twitter and made the post. And the rest is history, man. Jeff is awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, I don't know who your marketing guy is, but the hat is it. The logo is it. The hat is it. And then, but you guys just did a good job. Like when I was telling them about you guys earlier on, I was like, it's them. And my brother's like, the hat's everywhere. I'm like, I know the hat is everywhere. And of course we haven't made a hat because we didn't pick up on what we should do as a podcast.
I'll tell you this, when we start making hats, we're going to leave them at different spots in Miami, like Lost and Found, so maybe somebody can find.
You got to put them in important places where the right people might find them. Yeah. That's the other cool part of the story, and we don't know the answer is who else was going on a yacht that had the hat first, because that's the thing that we kind of built the hype with our hats. This is not going to turn into a hat podcast, but it is kind of cool. When we first made the hat, it was exclusive. We didn't sell the hat. It wasn't available. We all had the hat. And we did all player pod. Like it was all player pod when we first started. Our first 25 episodes was just Dolphin players. And which got lucky. That's a whole different story. A lot of luck in our story, to be honest about it. But we didn't sell the hat. But because we gave them to the players as gifts and they started wearing them around the facility and pictures started getting posted, guys were at the zoo and they're wearing the dive bar hat. And, it kind of became like this mythical thing because you couldn't get one. And so we finally decided to sell them. And when we did, they sold like hotcakes. And even today, we announced that we're going to be dropping a new batch soon. And we always do that. We don't sell them a lot because we don't really want. It's kind of what makes them cool. We've always stuck to that. Every 6 months, we'll drop 50 hats and they sell out overnight. And that's just how we do it. And maybe it's dumb as a business plan because you could probably just stay stocked and sell them. But that's kind of how we do that. That's kind of how that hat.
Let me tell you that my wife is a sucker for all that type of stuff. So just keep that marketing because we're always waiting in lines. We're always driving around Miami trying to find whatever thing you can only buy one time out of the year.
It reminds me of Johnny Drama and Entourage when they go to the marijuana place and then Turtle gets the medical weed and he just wants to go for the trucker hat. That's kind of what.
Yeah, that's right.
So how'd you guys get into the podcast game? Like how did the dive bar start? It was some boys, like you guys are all from different places in the country, or you guys are all in the same area? How do you guys know each other?
Yeah, so kind of cross paths on Twitter over the years. Became aware of each other, I guess you'd say, associated with each other on the timeline. Then we all got together at a Dolphins game, kind of became friends, and kind of grew off of that. We all hang out every time we come down, obviously now, but we'd hang out for that weekend. Then we've always talked. We've always been in a group chat together. We've always been talking about the Dolphins nonstop, complaining, crying, bitching, the normal stuff. Talking about, this is our year. It's not our year. But one day we were just another time where I really was trying to push it and didn't get the credit for it again, of course. But I'd been asking, I nonchalantly drop it in there every so often, hey, we kind of need to start a podcast, boys. We all have a following. We're always talking about the Dolphins. Why not do something with it? And they just, whatever. They just kind of scroll by it. Then one day, Joe Robbie was like, boys, we should start a podcast. And everybody was like, that's incredible.
Again, you got overlooked, dude.
What the hell? Dude, I've been begging y'all for 6 months. But, it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. So, dude, is pretty much it.
I mean, Ghost of Adam Gase, Joe Robbie, I'm just gonna say every time I see dive bars, someone's doing something. It's Bobby, so Bobby needs a little credit here.
No, it's all good.
Give him his flowers.
Like I said, as long as we get to where we're going, I really don't care.
I hear you. All right, so going back into everything, I saw that you got to go to Radio Row, which is any media dream, right? You had great interviews and great things. Who's your favorite interview?
Man, that's tough. You know, I tell people this and they don't understand it, and y'all are not going to understand it either. But man, Jordan Poyer was really awesome.
Really?
I know that's crazy.
That stings
Was it
right
the
now.
ayahuasca talking or
It kind of, yeah. So like we talked about the Dolphins and like hating Dolphin fans and that kind of like, you know, that back and forth and the love-hate relationship of being a Bill and coming to the Dolphins and the you know, that pass interference and like everybody thinking he's a sleeper agent and then going back to the Bills and getting cooked by Tua and HN this year. And we talked about it and it was awesome. And then, yeah, we go back and forth and we're talking shit about football. And next thing you know, man, something clicked with this guy. We asked one mental health question. And he took off for 10, 15 minutes about, you know, struggling with sobriety, how it humbled him, like not being able to be there for his daughter. He was so drunk and it just scared the shit out of him. And his dad was like that. And like, it was cool to me because no one said a word. And this guy just poured out his heart for like 10 minutes. And you get in those moments, and we do a lot of virtual stuff. You don't really get to see. I was shoulder to shoulder with the guy. And you realize at that point, it's like, oh man, they're just humans. Like this is a human being. And like, he goes through the same shit anybody could. And it's like, I'm the first to do it. We all do it. We get on Twitter. We cook these people. It's awesome. Poyer's been the punchline a few times. But you realize in those moments, like, man, this is a human being. And man, so Jordan Poyer, for me, that was a really awesome conversation. And it was really eye-opening too.
Yeah, he was the Dolphins killer for so long with the Bills. Absolute stud. But another stud we want to talk about, Carpet Dinosaur. He's part of your community. Can you elaborate a little bit what's going on?
You know, I hate that he actually is getting so much credit these days. Like, dude, I don't know who it is. Like, that's the thing about it is like,
No.
I can't escape it though. Like, dude, we're on live with Teron Armstead, and he's asking about Carpet Dinosaurs. Like, yo, what the hell's going on? This guy is just like, I know where he comes from, like the circle he's in or from, but they keep it mysterious, and I kind of respect it at this point. It's like it's a mythical creature. Carpet Dinosaur is a complete savage, and you know, sometimes he hits and it really benefits us, and like he'll do cool stuff for us. And then sometimes he'll tie our name to crazy stuff. And I'm like, whoa, we did not say any of that. Like, what the hell? But you never know what you're going to get. And you got to appreciate all of it because some of it's really cool.
Yeah. I thought he was part of you. That's what I wasn't sure or not, but he definitely does sometimes claim
a rogue
he's
agent.
you guys.
So you guys still do not know who Carpet Dinosaur is?
Not officially. I know like the group he comes from. And I think he's one of them, but they say it's actually not one of them specifically, but one of their boys, which is fine. I mean, like whoever is in it all the way. Like the bit is completely bought in. Like it might be its own person at this point. No one else could run that account so often. Like he's a full-time bit. Like I honestly hats off to him.
Yeah. We'll get back to him in a little bit because you know, there's one thing he was wrong on, and I could just see like a sad dinosaur. Like in my head, I was just like a sad dinosaur looking down.
Oh my god, this is go too far.
But then let's get to like some Dolphin talk. Okay, we're here at a dive bar with little big opinions. We're gonna, we're crossing the county line. I think most of us we're here in Miami. I think you're in Louisiana, and some of the people might be in Broward, right? So other people in dive bar. Yep. So tell us what you think. What went wrong last year?
What didn't go wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I think long time coming, probably, honestly. And good thing they cut the head off the snake this offseason, because it really was just going to be the inevitable it wasn't going to work, and you were going to fire Mike, and you're going to have to do all these things. And it looked like they were going to maybe run it back one more time with Mike, and then they ended up not doing that. And thank God, because it really wasn't working. And the sad part is it probably hadn't been working for 2 years. You know, it probably was something that could have been addressed last offseason. And I think that just like the honeymoon phase, which is crazy because Mike was so responsible for Tua emerging onto the scene and becoming the top, passer in 2023, getting the payday, advocating for him. And, without getting into it too much, for them to then fall out of love and kind of turn on each other behind the scenes and like not have that working relationship and it kind of spew over onto the rest of the team. It was kind of wild to see. So I think just when the top guys are not in line, nothing else falls in line. And we just seen that last year and it fell off the rails.
Covering the Dolphins, we've gone through resets, rebuilds, but this seems like you said, cut the head off the snake. This feels like the first time, right? That feeling that they're finally doing it the right way, stripping it down to the studs. But Adam Schefter came out today with some ridiculous news. Out of $308 million salary cap, $175 million in dead cap. That means $133 million for the salary cap for our players. You got 43 players who are signed at the minimum right now, and only 10 players are only signed for $2 million or more right now on this. So let's just talk about that for a second. This is unprecedented. The $99 million cap hit with Tua, all starts there. But what happened to Tua? What do you think happened to Tua last year? Because before he was accurate. Now this past year, he wasn't accurate, wasn't making the right decisions, throwing it up in the air. He just didn't seem like Tua. What did you think happened last year? And what do you think about him going to ATL and what maybe he might do over there with the Falcons?
Yeah, we talked about this a few times. It's pretty simple, man. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm one of Tua's biggest fans, but reality of it is he got paid and he quit putting in the work. He really did. We all know he was a workout warrior. Us specifically, not to get into too much, but our friend trained Tua. So we knew Tua's schedule, how much he worked, how much of a grinder he was. I mean, he'd put in 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, every offseason, just grinding, getting his body back after the big injury in college, just doing the work. And then, man, he got paid and just ghosted everyone. He quit showing up. Now, instead of seeing workout videos, you're seeing, he's out on the yacht videos. Mm-hmm. He's in the Bahamas. He just quit putting in the work. And I say it like this, and it sounds bad, but reality of it is Tua's not a premier athlete. He's not a top-notch athlete. He's got to do the 6 hours a day, 6 days a week just to be on the level of some of these guys or be in the room. When he doesn't do those things, you see who Tua really is. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality. He has to go knees deep all the time, all in on his body to be 2023 Tua. And either he decided or it became too much or his body's failed him or the concussions, whatever it was, he decided it wasn't worth doing all that. And I don't know if he realizes it or he doesn't care, but that's why his performances failed.
Yeah, I mean, we're two of the biggest supporters of Tua. A huge supporter. And dude, when he was in Bama, because everyone, play revisionist history and, we should have taken Herbert. And I get it. Maybe we could have, but he was so good in Alabama. He was just a stud. And we thought we were getting the Tom Brady, Drew Brees type character, right? Yeah. That he was going to put in the work. And yeah, to your point, obviously I've seen it on Twitter. I can't confirm it, but I guess you guys can. I can't believe he just didn't show up to train like that. These guys are such elite athletes. And to your point, everyone knows he's an elite athlete compared to us, but to the NFL, those are one of one. You got to be putting in the work. And that's sad to hear because I've been saying all offseason, and I'll ask you, what do you think his chances are in Atlanta? I think he's at a great setup. If you don't put in the work, then that's a different story. But I think he's had a great chance to succeed there, and I think he's better than Penix. But
yeah, on paper, I think he probably couldn't have asked for much better of a situation. Run game, awesome defense, weapons on the outside. I mean, honestly, it's up to Tua. I mean, as simple as that. If Tua wants to figuratively and literally get off the boat and get his cleats and go back to work, I think that Tua could be a good quarterback. Honestly, though, I feel like the body has started to fail him a little bit. So, maybe he thought that if he rested, he could kind of prolong his career, or maybe I think it went backwards on him. But I do believe that we've seen the best of Tua. I don't ever think we're going to see 2023. That might be for multiple reasons, because you're not going to have Tyreek and Waddle again in their primes. You're not, obviously best shape of his life. Like I said, the guy was training 6 days a week, just straight workout warrior. I'll give him that. When he was working out, he was a machine. Like he put in all the time. And then, but no, I mean, like I said, people act like, I seen some Atlanta fans like assuming that they just got Tua and he's just going to beat Penix out and they got a top 10 quarterback. And I'm like, did you watch the Dolphins at all? Have you looked on Twitter? Have you seen anything? Like, I don't even know that he'll beat Penix out. Like, I truly don't know. And maybe this will humble him. Maybe it'll reignite that fire for him. And I hope it does. For his sake, I'd love for him to go on and be successful. But I do wonder and fear that he's just kind of like, this is where I'm at now. This is kind of what we're doing. And he'll just show up come August and think he's owed something, or it's just going to be easy and he'll be on the bench.
That's the intriguing part, right? Does this light the fire within to prove the doubters, to prove that biggest dead cap hit of all time, but I'm coming back and I got a part 2, right? That would be the interesting thing. So Tua right now, we're gonna see how he looks during camp, going into preseason. That's gonna be the number one headline, because you're covering the Dolphins all this time. He was a headline monster. There's something about Tua that whether you're a Dolphins fan or you were not a Dolphins fan, you either hated him or you loved him. But you know what you did? You love to talk about him. Everybody. I got buddies of ours that always were talking about him. Everybody, if you're a Dolphins fan, you either hate him or you love him. But the first thing that you're going to talk about is Tua Tagovailoa. That's no longer here anymore. So as a podcast, it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic change in this new regime. Speaking of new regimes, John Eric Sullivan, Jeff Hafley, they're in their book right now. Sully's cooking right now. How are you feeling right now about the new regime in the Dolphins organization?
Dude, I was a big advocate for Sully. That was my 1-1 when the search started, or even before it started, before we actually knew who the Dolphins were going to be interested in. Sully was my guy. And they go out and interview him. They end up landing him, which is crazy because you never get your guy. It's always like, man, imagine if we went and got, Peyton Manning. And it's like you end up with whoever the hell we ended up with. But it's like we truly got the guy. And I think for once, I feel convicted on it. Like, obviously, they still got to do it. You have 11 draft picks now, but you got to use them. And I think that is a big deal. Hafley seems to be, walk the walk and talk the talk. We'll see when it comes time to actually put some guys on the field. Not my favorite choice, but I think that since those guys have gotten in the building, they've checked every box. I don't think there's one thing you can complain about since those guys have stepped into their roles with the Miami Dolphins. And I feel good about it, man. I think they made some good signings. I think obviously they didn't, do anything spectacular except for Malik Willis. We just talked about that, having 40-some, vet minimum players, but I do think they got the right players, for what they could do with the money they had. And I'm excited to see what they do in the draft. That's really going to tell me a lot.
Yeah, you said it earlier. Like, I'm so glad that we just started fresh. And when we hired Sully, we still had Mike McDaniel, which was, I was just shaking my head like, dude, we're not going to do this again. Then we hear yesterday Tua making comments. He sends a text like about the comment. And I'm just like, I'm so happy that we're out of this, right? Like, we're starting fresh. And Hafley, we're season ticket holders as well. So we were at that press conference. And Sully's answering all the questions, but Hafley's just like, yeah, I can tell you whatever you guys want to hear, guys, but it doesn't matter. We got to win. Like, and I was just like, eating it up. I was like, this guy is the best. And I've been saying this whole time. I feel like he's the best mix of both, because you hear all the players coach stuff where, the defense loves him. Micah Parsons loves him. And then you have the hard nose of Brian Flores. So the best of mix between Brian Flores and Mike McDaniel, hopefully, will not know. And I'm telling you, I've told them before, we're not going to make a decision until year 4, okay? Because we've fallen in love with Adam Gase, with Mike McDaniel, with all these guys. And then year 4 is when we find out really either they're gone or they're just not good enough. So we're not going to – sorry, buddy. We're going to be hard on you. Year 4.
I'm gonna call bullshit there because I'll tell you why.
Oh, here
if this guy wins more than like 6 games this year, we're gonna be full chub on this guy. We're gonna be like, we're back. We found our guy with this limited roster.
Bobby, don't fall for it. Okay,
I want
Year 4. Stick with me.
You're a Dolphins fan at heart, right?
Yeah.
Just remember what you're saying here because we're gonna want to glaze over this guy. We're gonna want to root for him. Now, I'm not saying we're not rooting for him.
Yeah.
But if he does anything with this roster, we're back.
We're waiting. We love Brian Flores. It's the same thing. You relax, bro. Come back. Relax. Okay. So we're excited about Sully. Sully, we agree with you. We loved him. He has a plan, right? And everything he does so far makes sense. Like, we're like, oh my God, this makes sense. We haven't had that. We're not going to talk about the past regime. So Malik Willis, we sign him. That is the one controversial thing. We're on board. What do you think of the move?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, look, there were some times, and this is the easy answer, but this is the truth. There were some times where they were talking about $30 million, $40 million, some crazy numbers. And, I was actually in the Bahamas when we signed Malik Willis, which I hate as a podcaster because it really cost us. But when I see the numbers, they were saying like he's going to get $30 million a year from the Cardinals or whatever, and 2-year, $60 million deal. And then we end up getting them for 3 years, 67. I'm like, that's $22.5 million. It's like, dude, sign me up. Good, not good, doesn't matter. Dude, it's like there's no it's a 2-year deal basically at $22.5 million. And you get a chance to have a guy you trust. And that's how Solly and Hafley's seen it. They've been in that building with this guy. They know him. He knows the culture they're going to try to build. They can push him out there and he can be the head of the snake. He can kind of be that leader in the locker room they need to kind of build that culture they need. They trust him. That's who they're willing to roll the dice on. The only thing that was kind of weird for me was, and I'll go both ways. We'll probably talk about it in a little bit, but it was a little weird for the timeline because it does seem like we're going full rebuild and you're getting rid of talent and you're having to cut in the dead cap situation. And we all know the expectations got to be low this year, but then you go get Malik Willis. And that kind of tells me like, okay, well now there's some expectation because you don't go get a quarterback you think is the guy. You clearly do if you're paying him $22.5 million. If you don't expect to win. So that was a little weird. And then they trade Waddle, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit, but I have different opinions when it gets to Waddle.
Well, go right into it. What do you think about Waddle? What you're thinking?
Yeah, no, love Waddle, huge Waddle guy, but reality of it is you bring that offer to the table, it's time to trade Waddle. Mm-hmm. That's just reality. I think when I decided to change my opinion on the outlook on the whole, like, what are you doing for Malik Willis thing is like everyone, all the talking heads were like, why even sign Malik Willis if you're going to trade Jalen Waddle? But on the next sentence, you talk about all the picks we got back. And it's like, well, wait and see when the draft. Like, you can't like, Malik Willis probably wouldn't have signed here if they knew they were going to trade Waddle. You don't know what they're going to think. They go and get 2 weapons and a guard in the draft. Now Malik Willis has a damn good offense. It's like, it's a pointless conversation. So I do need to see the draft. I just think it's kind of annoying to hear everybody be like, oh, Malik Willis is set up for failure now. It's like, they have 11 picks, 7 in the top 100. They could literally have a top 15 offense once the draft is over.
Yeah. Speaking of the draft, like you just mentioned, 7 in the first 94 picks. That's a lot of draft capital. This is a deep draft for some of the positions of need that we need. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, we're one guard away from having a stout, offensive line. Hopefully, Jonah steps up next year. Yeah, and then you get a couple weapons. Who would you love to see at 11? Like in a perfect world, because we're Miami guys here, obviously. So we got our, our love for the Canes, but who would you love to see at 11?
Yeah, I gotta stick to my guns here. I've been consistent with it. I think for me, all season, my 1-1 has been Caleb Downs. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a 10-year starter, immediate plug and play, the brains of the defense. Perfect situation if you're trying to replace Minka. I kind of wanted to see them two together. I thought that'd be cool, like the old bull and the young calf type situation, but it doesn't work that way. But Caleb Downs for me is my number 1 want at 11.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be there, to be honest, but that is probably the number 1 guy that if he's there above all guys, I think he's the number 1 guy, the number 1 prospect.
Over. So okay, let's talk about this. Well, this is what's fun about it.
Yeah,
Francis Mauino is there, Ruben Bain is there, and Caleb Downs is there. Who are you going with?
I'm with Bobby. I'm going Caleb Downs. There, I mean, from all accounts, from what everyone's saying, this guy could be the next Ed Reed. And if you're building a defense for half, this is the guy to do it.
Ed Reed. I like that. I like that.
And by the way, if you look at the Packers, they draft secondary in the first round all the time. Like that's something that
they definitely don't draft
wide receivers.
That's for sure.
Only when
Aaron
Rodgers
is going to be
gone.
interesting to see at number. There's going to be wide receivers there at 11, obviously, but at 30, it's going to be interesting to see what happens at 30. But I'll answer my own question. I'm going Ruben Bain in a heartbeat. I think this guy, we may not need it on the defensive line, but he is a generational talent, in my opinion. I don't care if he's got the reptile arms. I don't give a crap. This guy is.
Talk about a lot of dinosaurs.
He is the man. He is, get that carpet dinosaur. He is the man. Ruben Bain is the man. And I've also said this before. Francis Mauigoa is going to be an all-pro guard. He gives me Penei Sewell vibes all the time if he kicks into the guard spot. But what's most important is we have plenty of options to happen. And it's going to be fun because you're going to get all these young players playing this year because they're going to have to play just like they did last year. So should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So let's get into you guys did a mock draft yesterday, right?
Yeah.
How many of you guys were on it? All 6 of you, 4 of you? What was it?
Yeah, four of us. Producer in the back.
How'd you guys do it? Each one of you just changed picks? Or you guys picked it together?
No, so we kind of do it like a war room style. So like we get to the pick, you see the board, we kind of all like give our argument for what it should be, and then the consensus wins. You got to win over the room, or if 3 guys always. Obviously, sometimes it's obvious, but that's kind of how we do it. Give a real lot.
You guys ran it. You guys ran it like Chris Greer ran it, not like Sully, where he says he's the final say.
No, we're actually picking football players.
Okay. So if we have this draft, I am telling you right now, I am going to I'll go streaking in my front yard. Sorry, Brittany. It's going to happen.
Whoa.
But we got 11 Ruben Bain.
Oh, wait. Who?
Ruben Bain in 11.
Okay.
We have 30 Omar Cooper from Indiana.
Stud. And
then a steal in round 2 with Emmanuel Pregon. Like, how did you guys pull that off?
What? Dude, you gotta listen to the board, man. You gotta let the board come to you, man. See, Greer didn't understand that you don't have to take the guy you love in the 5th and the 2nd. You can just listen to the board. Sometimes you get a gift like Ruben Bain. Obviously, the arms. Could he drop? He might drop. He fell to us. It's a no-brainer. Will that happen in real life? Maybe not. But the thing about the live mock draft is you get one shot. We got to play the board the way it falls. And Ruben Bain was there at 11. And, Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon was there at 43. And obviously, after passing on O-line twice, we were happy to get him there.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm super excited. I think we're going to win with that offense right there. I'm telling you right now. And somehow Bain is going to make Chop better because he's going to take the guy. Like, I'm so excited. Like, please make this happen, please.
Yeah, Ruben Bain would actually be a stud. Now, Bobby, can we get into a little bit of about you, your fandom here? We have some questions that we have the Dolphins fan experience. First of all, how long you been a fan? What's your earliest memory of the Miami Dolphins?
Earliest memory. My earliest memory is probably the last time we won a playoff game. I've been a Dolphins fan my whole life. I'll get into that in a little bit. But my earliest memory, probably the last time we won a playoff game. I remember that. I remember, realizing we're winning a playoff game. Then we got smoked the next game, so it didn't really matter. But that's probably my earliest memory.
And how did you become a fan?
Yeah, so my dad, I'm in North Carolina, so it's kind of everybody's like, how the hell did you become a Dolphins fan? My dad was a big Dan Marino guy, huge Dolphins fan. This is the craziest part about it, though. I lived in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina, population like 7,000. We had a local Pop Warner football team, was the King Dolphins, and the uniforms were exact replicas of the Miami Dolphins.
Nice. Let's go. What position did you play?
All the positions. I started at 5 in flag. I think I was a center. And then I think I played D-line. You know how flag, they put everybody anywhere. It's like, it don't even make no sense. The smallest kid's a guard. The biggest kid's a tight end. It's like, it don't make no sense.
Well, I'll let Ryan tell his story of his short football career. So go for it, Big.
So, Bobby, and I don't think we ever said this on the podcast. I'm a fairly large human being ever since I was a little kid, and my dad, growing up, played football, and his dream was always for me to go play football. So we went to the local park, Kendall Hammocks here, and my dad's like, "I'm gonna go sign you up for football." I'm 8 years old, I show up. It's a little trailer. And the guy goes, "Okay, what are you here for?" "Oh, he's here for 8 and under." "All right, tell him to stand on the scale." So I stand on the scale, and the guy looks at my dad. He goes, "Can you come here for a second?" And he goes, "Listen, I can't put your son with 8 and under. I'm gonna have to put him with the 11-year-olds, because you see those two little kids right there, and there's just little yappy kids like trying to like hit each other." He's like, "That's his age group, and if I put him on that, I'm going to get lawsuits, and I just can't do it. And I can't put him with the 11-year-olds because he's 8 years old. So, sir, he can't play football." So I saw my grown man, my father, holding back tears. And that's holding back tears, and I'm like, just like a little fat kid in the seat. "Well, what's wrong, Dad? Can we go to McDonald's?" And we end up going. They put me in basketball, but yeah, I never played football because of that. So
yeah, great. It's a great story, and like I said, we've known each other since we were 3, so we have all these crazy stories on us that we throw out all the time. But he's the biggest Dolphin fan that I know, and the fact that he has that is just gold to me. But what other Dolphin moment as a fan? Okay, you're in Louisiana, right? So you're at Ragin' Cajun, or did you go to school there? Is that how you ended up there?
I didn't. My wife did.
Where'd you go to school?
Didn't go to college.
Oh, okay. And
Blue collar, baby.
Nice.
And you're a fan of who?
UNC, Tar Heels.
Okay. You Drake May fan?
No, not really.
Okay, I was going to
Although
say.
at Media Row, I went to the opening night ceremonies. I seen him, said a little "Go Tar Heels." He said, "Always, baby." Gave me numbers.
Okay, there it is. There it is.
So early on, or whenever, which Dolphin moment for you stuck the most, whether it's a good or bad moment?
I always remember the Ricky era, obviously. Freaking awesome. Ricky Williams is just a monster. Obviously, back behind me on the wall. Funny story, actually. I had this poster when I was a kid in my bedroom. Moving or whatever, it got destroyed. It wasn't, you lose it, whatever. When we started the podcast, my first purchase for my backdrop was getting this poster again. So Ricky, growing up, was amazing. I always think about the snow game in Buffalo. It's like the first possession. He breaks that one off the left side all the way to the house. That's probably my fondest memory.
Now, we got a lot of holes on this roster. We got, we're going to have a lot of young players. If you had to bring back one former Dolphin for this specific team, but his name is not Dan Marino, who would you bring back and why?
That's tough. Let's see. I mean,
it could be anybody. It could be the old guys, anybody at all.
It's going to be an old guy for sure. I think the easy answer could be Zach Thomas, to have a heart and soul and kind of a guy that the culture is going to be correct. But I think that's also an easy answer. So I'll go a little different. I'd say since we have 0 cornerbacks, I'll go Pat Surtain.
Oh, there it is. We always like asking people, is it Pat Surtain or is it Sam Madison?
Yeah. What makes you go with Pat instead of Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to answer that. You never know who might be on the podcast. But, dude, Pat Surtain was just electric. I mean, Sam Madison, obviously, OG, deserves all the flowers. Coached for the Dolphins for a little bit. But Pat Surtain just did it a little different. He had a little swag to him, got a hold of the ball a lot, make plays, difference-making plays. So Pat Surtain he was awesome.
His offspring is not too bad either, by the way. PS2 over there in Denver. Can you imagine having that guy on the Dolphins right now? That would be a fun story.
Well, I wonder if Waddle and him are going to box a little bit because they called him out.
That's right.
So those defenses, that's what we grew up with. Those are our fondest memory. Just so you know, No one has said Pat Surtain. We did have a Sam Madison pick, but no one had said Zach Thomas. So I thought Zach was going to get his first vote, but he's still off the board. Mostly Jason Taylor is the picks that we get.
I thought about that one too. Like I said, I just wanted to be a little different. I think that there's so many easy answers, and Pat Surtain might be one too, but it's not. There's 3 that are obvious.
If we get a Pat Surtain in the first round, I'll be super excited. Mm-hmm. So I see that you have your old Dolphins logo up there. We have our current logo, and then of course Ricky is the 90s logo. Which logo is your favorite?
90s. Probably the 90s. Yeah, I think that's the perfect logo.
All right.
That's the common answer, right? The old school 90s logo. That's everyone's favorite that we've had on the pod, and we asked this question.
The Jimmy Johnson 90s.
Jimmy Johnson 90s. The rough.
I'm pretty sure he's the first person to answer that.
No.
Mr. Eats.
Mr. Eats said 1984.
No, he pointed at the jersey he had on.
The old school one.
Yeah.
I thought Tobin.
Sorry, this guy doesn't pay attention to
No, what's his name? Mike Oliva from Dolphins Talk said the 90s logo.
Did he? All right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're definitely wrong here. Definitely wrong here. Bobby, sir, it's been nothing but a pleasure talking ball with you, talking Dolphins. We appreciate you very much. We appreciate the dive bar. But one last thing. I see you're wearing a hat right now with a logo. Is that Outcast Cigars?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have a connection to Outcast Cigars. We went to school with Jason's brother, Greg. So I want to shout out Greg Wood, Beto. Got to shout him out. Outcast Cigars. I just had to say it. I've been looking at it the whole time. Shout out to Greg right there. Nice. How are the cigars?
Man. Hey, awesome. They're amazing. And thank you, Greg. Awesome sponsor of the Dive Bar podcast, Outcast Cigars. So yes, Outcast Cigar gets all the love around here.
Amazing. He's has one favorite question that Big usually asks, but I'm going to ask you: if the aliens were coming down and the world is ending tomorrow, and you have one meal left, what is your last meal?
Yeah, this is going to sound crazy. I mean, I think you could be like ribeye, but I'm a North Carolina boy. And one thing, Louisiana has great food, but they don't have this. North Carolina, I didn't realize I had it good. You don't realize you're in the good days until they're gone. Just a good old greasy grill, hasn't been cleaned in 20 years, hot dog with some fries. Take me out of here.
Really? Wow.
What are you putting on the hot dog?
All the way, no onions. Take me out of here.
you putting ketchup on that?
Yes.
Oh,
that's
blasphemy, sir.
Who the hell doesn't put ketchup on a hot dog?
I'm right here, dude. The fat guy. That's who.
My father also does not put ketchup, and every time he sees me put it on, he's like, "What are you doing, son?" I'm like, "Dad, I'm putting ketchup on the podcast, on the hot dog."
On the podcast. Funny story. Derek Wingo, one of our guys on the podcast, former Florida Gator, went to rookie minicamp with the Dolphins this offseason. Didn't make the team. God bless him, but it led him to us. He now works for Rosenhaus Sports. He has never had a condiment in his lifetime.
What? Excuse me?
Why?
24 years old, no mayonnaise. Never had a peanut butter and jelly because he's never had jelly. No ketchup, no mayonnaise, no ranch, nothing.
Excuse me. How does that happen? Growing up,
that's a choice, obviously.
Well, now it is.
Dude, he's built like a Greek god. Played D1 football. I can't really complain.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He wants to be clean cut for sure.
I mean, but when you're growing up and you're 11 years old, and
he's missing out though. He has no idea.
Someone makes a mistake and McDonald's puts ketchup on your burger.
When you by accidentally put the ketchup and mayo together at the same time and make pink sauce for the first time, what a joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, and he actually gets uncomfortable. Like when you're like, "We got to get you, son. You should try." And he's like, "Oh God."
Yeah.
Like he don't like it at all.
The Mike Hugno we just had on our last pod, he's has a phobia of ketchup. So it's 2 in a row.
What's going on?
Him and Wingo got to get together. Yeah. I think they get along very well.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate this. We have season tickets, so we're out there all the time. If you guys, you and the boys are coming down to a game, we'd love to have you because we're gonna have a huge setup. We have a tailgating party that we're gonna have, and you guys are more than welcome to sit up right next to us, and we will talk some ball live. So,
heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Absolutely.
It's been appreciated, man, meeting you, and hit that like and subscribe button for Dive Bar. Hit that like and subscribe button for Little Big Opinions podcast, all Dolphins content. And, sir, we appreciate you. Take us home.
Sayonara, suckers.